Europe is a vast continent that houses many different peoples and cultures. These diverse groups have played significant roles in shaping human history. Have you ever considered the true origins of the European peoples? Surprisingly, the Holy Scriptures contain clues about this lineage, suggesting a hidden ancestral link between Europeans and the accounts in the Bible. In this presentation, we will explore the ancient roots of Europe to uncover the undisclosed beginnings of the white populations according to biblical teaching. Prepare for an enlightening journey through the Scriptures and overlooked histories. Join us as we reveal secrets that could change your understanding of the past and shed light on the concealed origins of Europeans based on the Bible. Europe, a vast continent comprising numerous countries, each with its distinct culture and historical narrative. Among these nations are Germany, Austria, Poland, Hungary, France, Italy, Romania, and many more. Did you know that the Holy Scriptures make references to the origins of the European peoples? Yes, the Bible mentions nations that gave rise to the peoples of Europe, tracing them back to their ancestors. In the book of Genesis, chapter 10, genealogical records point to the forefathers of various civilizations. By interpreting these biblical texts, considering their symbolism and historical significance, intriguing details about the origins of different peoples and nations emerge. The Greeks and Macedonians, for example, are cited in the Bible as direct descendants of Japheth, one of Noah's sons. Through ancient genealogies and traditional Jewish interpretations, it is understood that Japheth is regarded as the primal ancestor of Europeans. Javan, one of Japheth's sons, is specifically identified as the progenitor of the Greeks, while other branches of Japheth are believed to have given rise to several nations on the European continent. This knowledge, preserved over centuries, reinforces the notion that biblical traditions and historical accounts intertwine, offering a distinctive perspective on the origin of the European peoples and their ties to humanity's ancient past. The name Japheth carries deep significance, traditionally interpreted as beautiful or pale, with possible connections to expansion or multiplication. This interpretation aligns with how European populations expanded historically, colonizing territories and influencing civilizations worldwide. In biblical tradition, European peoples are referred to as Japhethites, as they are the direct descendants of Japheth, Noah's son. Beyond religious contexts, Japheth's influence extends to linguistics, the Indo-European language family, encompassing languages like English, German, Russian, Ukrainian, French, and Spanish, is commonly known as the Japhetic language family, reflecting the biblical ancestry of European peoples. This linguistic and biblical relationship underscores how cultural and historical characteristics of Europeans have not only been documented in sacred texts, but have also profoundly impacted the development of languages and identities throughout history. The Holy Scriptures mention the ancestors of the European peoples in chapter 10 of the book of Genesis and also in the book of Chronicles. In these passages, we discover the lineage of Japheth, which includes his 7 sons and grandsons. By examining the names of these descendants, we can trace the roots of the ancient Europeans in antiquity. The Israelites themselves referred to the European peoples as Japhethites, and in some cases as Javanites, particularly when talking about the people of Greece who were known as the children of Javan. In the book of Genesis, the descendants of Japheth are mentioned by name. His sons were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah, while the descendants of Javan included Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. An intriguing point is the biblical identification of Ashkenaz as the forefather of the Germanic peoples. This connection has persisted over time and is acknowledged within Jewish tradition, with Ashkenazi Jews representing this historical heritage. The link between the biblical accounts and the development of European peoples provides a captivating insight into how the ancient Hebrews understood genealogy and the dispersion of nations. As is widely recognized, Ashkenazi Jews refer to the regions of Germany and other areas inhabited by Germanic peoples as Ashkenaz. This naming convention stems from ancient Jewish tradition and the biblical worldview, which views Ashkenaz as the progenitor of the Germanic peoples, including the Germans themselves. Additionally, Ashkenaz is also considered the patriarch of Scandinavian populations and other Germanic groups. In a parallel manner, a biblical figure named Japheth is associated with the Irish people who believe that Japheth was the ancestor of the Celtic peoples. Japheth was the son of Gomer and the grandson of Japheth, thus regarded as the progenitor of the Celtic tribes dispersed across Europe. Alongside Japheth's descendants, we find other sons of Japheth often linked with European peoples or populations genetically connected to Europeans. For instance, Madai, mentioned in the biblical text, is widely interpreted as the forefather of the peoples who migrated to present-day Iran, known as the Aryan or Iranian peoples, biblically referred to as the Madai. Among these peoples, the Medes and Persians are prominent, with Madai believed to be the progenitor of the Median tribes, which gave rise to the Medes, Persians, Parthians, and other groups in ancient Persia. Moreover, names like Magog, Tubal, and Meshech from Genesis 10:2 are identified as the ancestors of the Slavic peoples, including Russians and Ukrainians. This interpretation is based on the correlation between these biblical names and the historical origins of the peoples in the region. Many scholars of biblical genealogies and nation formation suggest that Russia and Ukraine are associated with Gog and Magog, as Tubal and Meshech are commonly regarded as the progenitors of these populations. Understanding the identities outlined in apocalyptic prophecies like those in the Book of Revelation and other biblical texts, such as Daniel, Ezekiel, and Isaiah, is crucial. Knowledge about the peoples mentioned and the identities of their ancestors is key to interpreting these passages correctly. For instance, Magog, Tubal, and Meshech are recognized as the biblical forebears of the Slavic peoples, while Ashkenaz is highlighted as the patriarch of the Germanic peoples. It's important to note the distinction between the Germanic and Slavic groups, even though they are genetically related as European populations. Another significant figure is Tarshish, one of Japheth's sons. According to historical and genealogical interpretations, Tarshish is seen as the ancestor of the Etruscans, a group that significantly influenced the ancient Italians and Romans. While the Romans were not solely descendants of the Etruscans, their heritage played a crucial role in their genetic and cultural makeup. Moreover, the Romans also had Germanic ancestry from Javan, another son of Japheth. Studying the biblical origins of European peoples aids in comprehending their historical and cultural ties, offering a broader perspective on the development of ancient civilizations. An intriguing aspect regarding Javan, Japheth's son, is that he was not only the progenitor of the Greeks, but also of other groups closely related to them, sharing historical and cultural roots in antiquity. Additionally, the names of Japheth's descendants gave rise to numerous ancient nations, with linguistic variations found across different languages such as Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic. This linguistic similarity in names evolved over time due to the dispersion of peoples following the Tower of Babel incident. According to biblical tradition, linguistic diversity emerged as a consequence of human wrongdoing, disrupting the unity of the original language known as the Adamite language. This division led to the emergence of countless languages and dialects, shaping the linguistic landscape we see today. Among Javan's sons, Elisha, identified as the ancestor of the Hellen in Greek, stands out. The Hellenes were the people who contributed to the formation of Greek identity in ancient times. Hence, Elisha, the grandson of Japheth, is frequently recognized as one of the forefathers of the earliest Greeks, often referred to as the original Greeks. Another descendant of Javan that garners significant interest in scriptural texts is Tarshish, commonly mentioned in sacred writings as the ancestor of the Tartessians. Tarshish is linked to a group that inhabited the Iberian Peninsula in ancient times. The Tartessians are acknowledged as the earliest known inhabitants of the region, suggesting that the Portuguese and Spanish peoples partially trace their origins back to Tarshish. Although the Portuguese also have other Japhetic influences and a notable Semitic heritage, their genealogy, according to biblical tradition, can be traced back to Tarshish, showcasing the diverse roots that have contributed to the formation of present-day populations. Moreover, the cultural and historical impact left by the Tartessians in the Iberian Peninsula remains a subject of study, with fascinating archaeological findings shedding light on their legacy. Another significant descendant of Javan is Kittim, often associated with the island of Cyprus. The ancient inhabitants of Cyprus, known as Cypriots, are conventionally regarded as descendants of Kittim, reinforcing the historical and cultural ties between the people of Cyprus and Javan's lineage. On the other hand, Javan's fourth son, named Dodanim, sparks some debate among scholars. Some suggest a potential transcription error, proposing that the original name should have been Ranim. This linguistic variation could imply a connection with the Dardanians, an ancient Trojan people. This theory raises the intriguing possibility that the ancient Trojans, renowned for their involvement in the Trojan War, could be direct descendants of Javan, further expanding the potential branches of his lineage in ancient history. Biblical genealogy and its historical connections are expansive and brimming with captivating details, providing fertile ground for diverse analyses on the origins of peoples. However, to avoid delving too deeply into the subject, it is crucial to underscore one essential point. European peoples have their origins directly linked to Japheth and are consequently classified as Japhethites. This lineage not only establishes a connection between Europeans and the ancient biblical narratives, but also hints at a profound link between modern civilizations and the peoples of antiquity, showcasing the rich influences that have shaped contemporary cultures. May blessings be upon everyone, and until we meet again,